Hey, this is Prashant and welcome to my channel. So today we'll be discussing one of the lab related to reflected XSS. So getting to the problem statement. This lab uses CSP and contains a reflected XSS. Okay. To solve the lab, perform a cross-site scripting attack that bypasses the CSP and calls the alert function. Okay. I hope you understood the problem statement. At the end, we should trigger the alert method and it says CSP is in place and we need to somehow bypass it. Okay, let's go to the lab, open the link. As usual, it is slow. Okay, now we can copy this and open our Chromium and paste this and see the behavior of the application. Okay, we have a search functionality. Let's see. Let's search for hats. Okay, so here the thing we need to observe is whatever we give input as hats and we can see the output as hats whatever we give it is reflected back to us, so reflected XSS could be possible. So second thing we can do is let's directly inject our alert method as the lab suggests us to trigger the alert method. Let's see how this goes. Okay, the inline scripting is not working, maybe because the CSP headers. Let's capture or let's get into deep. It says access protected. Go take this to the repeater and observe the response. Okay, here it clearly says content security policy in place. So remember one thing, like whenever you are trying XS attacks, content security policy is kind of a mitigation. It helps us to restrict the resources that we are using within the page. Like it only allows the domain or download the resources or assets from the domain name that we mentioned within the policy. So at the first glance, when you see content security policy, you don't come to a conclusion that XSS is not possible. If it is not, it is only not possible if the configuration is done properly. If the developer did not configure it properly, then we do have a chance. Okay, general information about CSP. So we do call this as a directives object CRS, and each asset has its own directive. Like you can only download styles from the same domain. You can't download from the different domain. Script source says you can only inject script from the same domain. You can't do inline scripting, so that our inline scripting didn't work. And this report URI directory helps us to, like, let's say if you try to do some malicious inject some malicious code like how we did earlier in line scripting, it will report to this domain, the mentioned domain. But here you can clearly see it is not a domain. It's look interesting, and here you can see there is a question mark. The first thing that triggers when you see question mark is in query parameters. If you see in the query parameters also, we have the question mark, right? Like, so I'm thinking whether if we pass token here, will it modify this token here or append? So let's just do that. Pass the token here, a random thing. Let's see the response. Okay, the thing that we added here is reflected here. So we do have a grip over this thing. What we can do is we have script source self and we need to introduce our own directive which will override the existing script rules and allow us inline scripting. So first we need to make sure what and all different kinds of objectives are there. Go to Chrome, just type for CSP, you will get a lot of information related to it and a lot of directives that can be used. But my focus is on script src element. So this will eventually override the previous script source behavior and let's us use the inline scripting. Okay, okay, we did choose, we do. choose this directive. And how can we inject it? If you go here, you can see a pattern, right? For every new directive declaration, it should start with after a semicolon. Okay, I want, instead of random, I want to introduce a new directive. So I will add a semicolon, then the directive name. Okay, we use this directive name. There are a lot of directives you can do trial and error and see other than this, which other than this directive which helps to solve this lab. For now, we take this directive. Okay, we added here, and after each directive, you can see there is a space. So I add a space and the policy. So for to enable inline injection, I gone through the documentation and I found unsafe inline does the job. Okay, you can see it is in black, but it should be in red within this path parameter. Okay, instead of giving, we will encode, instead of directly space, we will give the encoded space, like encoded value for space is percentage 20. Okay, now it is in red, but we don't want HTTP2 to be in red. Say, shit. Percent, let's read percentage 20 unsafe inline. Okay, we give a space so that it is distinguished. Okay, let's see what it looks. Okay, after token, looks like we have injected a new directive. Okay, let's modify this. Okay, we have the alert method that needs to be triggered, and we added our own directive so that inline injection is possible. Okay, looks good. Okay, okay. So one thing we need to remember is even browser have some security measures which uh, when we can't directly send lesser than and greater than, which potentially could help in our scripting. So even browser has the security measures for not allowing it. So instead of directly sending it, let's encode it and send. Encoding is here. I click on the character that you want to encode, convert it to the URL, encode all characters. Similarly, do this as well, whatever you feel needs to be encoded. Okay, you are encoded, and I will do all the special characters to be encoded. Okay, what, anything remain? This is remaining. Along with it, we have button. Okay, this thing is also special character. And this thing. Okay, HTTP looks like merge with the parameter. Let's give a space. Okay, looks okay. When we render, it is not solved. Let's send the modified request. Okay, now we can clearly see it is solved. To see the alert thingy, we can just copy this and run this in the actual browser. We are here. Okay, we remove this thing. We copied whole search, right? Okay, we paste the modified code and click on enter. Yes, you can clearly see that alert thing that needs to be solved for the lab is done, and you solve the lab. Okay, I think if you need better understanding, rewatch the video again. Thank you.